Now that's cold-blooded.
Taking out shorts and Sense Goblin 10. I highly suspect we end up retracing a large portion of this move by the time we make it through this stream. I think that the reality probably is that we end up somewhere back around that futures closing price. We'll dive into it now. I'll get everything sorted here and we'll dive in. So we'll kick off with BTC. We'll get the Inata running as well here so we can. Good evening, welcome. So we'll kind of pick back up where we left off on CPI day, right? That was the last time that we streamed, was CPI day. So we'll pick back up there. CPI day was here. And one of the things that I discussed during that stream was this price action that we'd seen continuously below 18.6. So this is something that we'd seen time and time again on BTC. We'd seen a very clear reaction back above 18.6. As soon as we trade below it, we've seen a very, very strong move back to the upside, and we saw exactly the same here. This is now the third time that we've done this pattern in this range here. So from September to where we are now, it's a little over 30 days. This is the third time we've completed this. I think we ran to the obvious point, which is the 19.8k resistance region. This is the untested breakdown region that we had through here. So I think running back up to this level was the one that made sense. It took out all of the shorts from this region here. And this was just a slow grind down. This whole region was just slow grind down bullshit, basically. So very strong move. Take out all of the slots from this region. Run into the untested zone. Reject the untested zone. Sell off heavily. Grind the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday contained here. And now we've seen a strong push to the upside. I suspect if we do push higher, we're going to be coming into this 19.6 region, be looking for a rejection again there. I think we'll be moving back down from any 19.6 retest. Every weekend so far for pretty much the last at least 5, we've pretty much just traded back towards the futures open price, the futures closing price from Friday, which at the moment is 19,155. So we're currently $200 above that, but 19,155 just brings us back down to this range. We had continued stabs this weekend into the lows, and so there were 2 occasions that we took the lows this weekend, on Saturday in the morning, and then later on around, just as we turned into Sunday here, an hour before the close, we took the lows again, and now we've seen the upside rally. Again, short build up in this region here. Strong candle takes everything out, but nothing really changed in terms of the overall structure or picture, I don't think, through here at the moment. And then when it comes down to it, in terms of, the higher time frame picture, what we're really doing is over-analyzing and looking for direction based on this overall region of chop. And we've got 2 areas of chop. We've got number 1, we've got the entire range that we're talking about, which is pretty much that's bored us to death since the summer. And then secondly, what we've got is we've got this range within here. So we've now got this range, which is the 18.6s up to the 20.4s. So we've got 2 areas of consolidation that we're now kind of, looking for some sort of directional break. And we are yet to see it. We're yet to see the strength one side or the other. Important to... I covered this. I spoke about this actually yesterday in the Haven. I just did one message this weekend in the Haven, which was basically, in the bull market, everybody was absolutely clamoring for a break. They were like, give me a break, I'm so tired. There's this rotation constantly. It's checking out the next thing that's pumping. It's, being in another position, missing another move. Everybody was just 24/7, just all systems go. And everyone was, by the time you've done that for a year, it's tiring. And now this period comes along where we have chop and we have terrible price action for the vast majority of people. And suddenly, people are spending more time at the charts trying to extract value from a market that is like blood from a stone style conditions for the majority of people. So when the market is offering you an opportunity to take a break and to not have to worry, you should absolutely take advantage of that, right? You should be like, thank you, market, for not making me feel FOMO, because we've just been trading in the same range for 5 months. We've been trading in the same local range now for over a month. Like, let me just enjoy my weekends. Let me take up a new hobby. Yeah, and so that's a very good point, right? Everyone is trying to make back what they lost on the way down. Yeah, absolutely. So everybody is now over trading poor market conditions in an attempt to make back what they have lost, whether that be through portfolio holdings or whether or not that be through getting chopped in this period since June, right? That's what people are looking for. You're absolutely correct. Would you get out of short for 19.7? To be honest, I don't think I would be right now. As I said, I'm pretty content in the fact that I think this retraces. I think I put that in the original tweet for this stream, right? I'm pretty sure this move just ends up retracing. You know, it's a weekend move. We usually end up around the futures price. I suspect that we end up getting back inside this range by the time futures opens. I mean, look, we're going to get there by the end of this fucking sentence if selling keeps on continuing like this. So I mean, you do whatever you want to do. I don't want to be, you know, too much on the, you know, here's what you need to do with your position. But I don't believe the move as a whole. Weekly bull div on Doge. Listen, if that plays out, it's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely great. I would love that to play out. Thoughts on QNT continues to be strong. Continues to be strong, one of the more interesting markets still. Unshortable, no signals there to short this whatsoever. Looks destined for continuation. Don't even know where I would call you know, an area for it to be interested in a short. I mean, just conditions are good for it. I mean, fuck it, needed a bear market outlier, so. We'll start off with the NAS. So yes, we still have the building of a bull div, and then someone says, look at the bull div on BTC 3-day. Well, we'll take a look at those in a second. We still have like the basis of a bull div down here, which is here and here, but as we speak about the BTC weekly div, we are very much still in progress, right? We're still in progress through this region. So there really is nothing to kind of get too excited about at this point. Because if tomorrow it's this, then this bull div is invalidated. And this awesome oscillator extends past here, and that's it. So we're definitely not in the position to start getting super excited about the bull div, but we can absolutely appreciate the fact that at this current moment in time, yes, we absolutely still have a higher low on the awesome oscillator, and yes, we still have a higher low on the RSI, but that's how the candle closed on Friday, and we're yet to see anything else. So really what you've got is you've got to wait until, you know, probably 48 hours have passed to see what indexes are going to do and how they're going to perform. Because at this point in time, it's not the best, right? False move right now. I would expect us to trade back lower for sure. What's a good price to capitulate at? I'd just sell it all here. Not even because, like, you know, the price is good or bad, just because of the fucking boredom. Just because of the boredom. Just capitulate here, just put it down to boredom. It's just capitulate based on the fact that fuck all's happening. I think Lux is looking pretty good overall. Oh, and SPX. Yeah, same shit. Same shit, right? This is more similar to the BTC candles. Strong reaction off the lows, strong reaction off the highs. Actually, just closing back down at the 3580s. Div still not confirmed. Div not confirmed. Ugh. Yeah, looks is decent so far. Like the daily's looking pretty nice for it. It's running up into a bit of a nasty area now at the 25 cents mark where it's had issues previously. Yeah, I mean it's certainly not looking bad. It's certainly not looking bad. 4 hour looks as though it wants to break higher. I still think the NFT markets are probably going to be very good buys when the bull market returns, if a bull market returns. Like the trouble with all of this is, like I thought about this before. You know, I was thinking, what shitcoins are people going to ask to look at today? And I was like, well, obviously people are going to want to look at the things that are up heavily, and this was pre-pump. So, I was thinking, you know, like on previous streams we've had, you know, people requesting whatever the flavor of the 24 hours is in terms of what's gone green, what's got decent upside. Like nothing survived, right? Apart from QNT, like nothing has survived. So my thing is like, how actively are people trading versus how many people are like continuously buying spot and then having to sell it a lot? Because not everybody here in this stream is going to be actively trading. A lot of you are just going to be spot buyers. So how many people have been like lured in by a market that's green on a day, bought spot, and then had to sell it like 4 days later for a loss? Because you get overexcited about one day that's green. And then it just bleeds back down. Like FXS is a prime example. Like every time it has one of these big rallies, it just bleeds out again. Like every market is doing it. Every single market. It doesn't matter what market has been an outperformer on whatever random day or whatever period of a week. Like everything just bleeds back. Yeah, have you seen what Perp did today? Yeah, there you go. It's another classic market that's going to do it. It's dog shit. ENS is a rounding bottom. Ape update. It looks like it took the highs on the 1 hour range consolidation. Yeah, I would agree. I have Ape up, and I would absolutely agree, Travi, in terms of the consolidation region. I think I drew the level on there. I think you can probably saw it at the very start of the stream. It was the first thing up. But yeah, again, I don't like talking about Ape because it is a market that I'm heavily interested in. So everything is just we truly at the bear market death of volatility mode. ETH is just a sweep of everything here. Until we're trading above here, all that's happening is we're sweeping everything from Friday through the weekend. That's it. That's until we're trading above here, you will not convince me otherwise. And in terms of the higher time frame picture, it's the same fucking thing it always is. As long as it's holding above 1200, then it's fine. As soon as it's trading below 1200, then it's cooked and going back to 700. Like that's the ETH picture. Gun to head, how many months of bear left? 6+. 6+. So like if it's continuation of bear market, then it's breakdown out of this consolidation. So whenever that comes, let's say within the next month, we break down. Again, remembering we're thinking about the bear market scenario here. So breakdown from this range, huge expansive breakdown. We get down to like the 13Ks. We trade at the 13Ks for 4 months, chop everybody up, resume the uptrend, but it happens slowly. Another couple of months. So yeah, I don't know, 6+ at least. And that's if things are imminent in terms of breaking down. So, I don't know. Let's take a look at Atom. It's been a while. It's really the higher time frame that matters, right? It's here. Yeah, garbage. Oh, yeah, garbage. Oh, no. Yeah, high stakes is buying Atom. Yeah, Psycho's been a big Cosmos ecosystem supporter, though, for a long time. Do you scan for divs every day on your coin list? No. No. Like, I'm aware... the divergences I care about in these conditions are very high time frame divergences, and so I'm very much aware of the picture that is developing across the majority of markets, so I don't need to scan every day. So the BTC, the weekly div picture, like this, we'll just cover this off quickly as well. So we have still got our div here and here. But again, like we talk about every week on this stream, we certainly have done for the last two, we're still a way off being able to call this a full divergence that we would be happy to trade. So a little bit off that. Nah, like I'm not interested in actively trading like 15-minute divergences right now. Like I have little interest in that side of things for the time being. I don't want to be actively trading. It's just conditions that I really don't enjoy. If we get a patch of momentum, then I will look at trading it actively. But that's it. Like I'm not really looking at trading this price action. You know, I'm very thankful when it gets to the weekend now. When it gets to Friday, it's fantastic because I know that crypto basically just acts like the stock market and it just closes now. You know, as soon as we hit the weekend, crypto is just like we're closing as well. Would you expect a bear market rally in the next 1 to 2 months, like a Christmas rally, the classic Santa rally? Maybe. Like you're talking 1 to 2 months. So who knows what's going to happen in that period of time? You know, there's no real point. Like from my perspective, yes. You know, typically in that sort of time frame, we always get a rally, and we have done previously since June. So yeah, like this is a sort of price action where it's you versus bots. Dollar just looks like continuation mode. Just looks full continuation mode. Back up to this resistance here at the 113s. So 113.40s. This is where we rejected the other day. This is CPI day. It looks like we were going to break clear of this diverging structure. Didn't. And then fed straight back in. 12-hour looks ready to move higher. Daily looks ready to move higher. Market structure still good. Bounce is still from the logical place. Simple bull market stuff continues for the dollar. Are we ever doing trading on stream? Not until the ref sign-ups are higher. Not until the ref sign-ups are higher. I mean, that's a given. I said I was paywalling it. I think it's going to be a trading contest. I think it starts next week on Femex, the week after. So I'm gonna get a team going for that anyway, and we'll trade live then here. So yeah, next couple of weeks, pretty sure it's a global trading comp on Femex with team-based structure. So we're definitely gonna get a full stream team going. Please have a look at sushi. Yeah, okay, that's a decent market to look at. Quite a nice trade on sushi. Listen, I caught a wonderful trade on sushi. Let me not sell that short to you. I caught a wonderful trade on sushi. I want you to look here at the amount of drawdown that I suffered on this trade. 0. Immediate bounce. Maybe took profits slightly too soon, but overall, very nice lower time frame trade. Higher time frame picture for sushi, just continuing the market structure, which was really kind of the basis around taking this position. So we can delete the clout piece now. The market structure has been very good, and we've just put in another fresh high here in terms of the daily time frame here. This is kind of the important one. So tap down to the original zone around the 110s. Really great recovery. 2 days to just blast past and Dalai Lama this sell-off over the 3-day period. Fresh high created. So the structure here is really, really good in terms of the uptrending structure, which puts sushi in a nice position, to be honest. Higher time frames, the 3 days looking pretty nice. And obviously now what we're really looking at from sushi's perspective is, you know, this structure here. This is the one that needs to change. And with this being a higher low here at the $1 level, hopefully for sushi, the push is here. The push is into the higher high on the 3-day and flip the structure there. The structure is very nice on the daily. Now you're looking for the switch and the change on the 3-day. Let's try and push past this structure. No daily div here. This is more of a continuation setup than it is a div setup. If it was a daily div, you wouldn't want this interaction here. What this is a strong up move. This is a cool off and a retrace, and this is continuation. That's what's here. How do you know when to enter at 50 RSI resets? You basically want confluence. So with this retest, for example, this was confluent with this area here. So you have this retest back into the 111s, 110s, plus you have the market structure. So you had really good kind of market structure all the way through this region as well. So you've got double confluence. You've got the market structure protection for the higher low. You've got the retest into the zone of breakout, and you've got the RSI being at 50. So what you want is you want other confluent factors along with your 50 level test. That's the best thing you could ask for. Do you ever try scalping very short scalps using tick charts? What's your opinion on tick charts? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of tick charts. A huge fan. Do you always use divergences on RSI and AO? I encountered a lot of divs on lower time frames that are taken out with simply range-bound PA, so divs get reset. Stop depending on that. You're probably not either identifying the conditions quick enough, you're not taking profit quick enough. There's a reason why your divergences aren't working. You're either trying to counter trend or counter trade the stronger trend, which is the wrong position to be in, so you shouldn't be looking at divergences anyway. So unfortunately, the problem is probably in your interpretation and execution of the divergences versus the divergences themselves. But also, like, don't piss about on the 15-minute time frame. Is it possible to be a div trader only? Yes. To long? Is it too late to long Aave? I think Aave does look very, very good. It's just a reclaim of this level here and the 72s. It's a really nice looking chart. Really good recovery. Really nice breakout of 74s. So at this point here, probably, like, you probably want to wait for it to cool off a little bit. 12 hour looks pretty decent through here. I think RV is still a decent market to be interested in, but like in terms of like overall, are you late? Like, just look at the chart. No, of course you're not fucking late. When you're talking about micro time frame, sure, you might want to wait for a bit of a cool off, but I think that 4 hour, 12 hour charts in here are really nice in terms of the picture they are painting. Good reclaims. Right, this is a really nice reclaim in here. Dips down, instant recovery, back up, retest into here, start sending higher. Very, very good. It needs green BTC. You know, that's the only downside. It needs green BTC in order to perform. And like, I think comp is a really interesting one as well, because comp keeps on just bashing into this 65, 66 level, and again has been a market that's been pretty strong. Just illiquid though. Too long didn't read TA and ETH. Lower time frame shop, medium time frame shop, higher time frame is fine as long as it sticks above 1200. Just way too much over analysis of lower time frames trying to catch the directional break. 1200 is the level ETH wants to hold. If it loses 1200, then it's a rough ride in triple digits again. That will come obviously if BTC breaks down significantly as well. Apart from that, the 1200 hold is absolutely fine for ETH. So while we're trading at 1200, I wouldn't be like mad bearish on ETH. I don't think there's any reason to be. Any time frame I should stay away from when scanning for divs. Does below 15 minute make any sense? If you want to trade the lower time frames, then you can trade divs on whatever time frame you want to. The important thing is like, a lot of people have the tendency with divergences where they see a divergence on the 15-minute time frame and they assume that it's some weekly play that they can hold on to. So you just have to have appreciation for whatever time frame the divergence is that you're looking at and planning on trading. That's all. XRP. Daily div above the highs. Might have one more leg in it. If we got that move here into the 57s, 58s, or even a spike into the 60s, and that we closed here, like this, then I'd short this. But it's not a great picture overall with these two highs and the lower highs here on the air. It's not a great looking picture. Any insight on Ape SEC investigation and staking? None. I've got no real clue what's going to go on that side of things. Arweave, scam or strength? I think it's probably strength, to be honest with you. I think this kind of setup has been kind of calling for it through here. We talked about kind of this was a divergence structure down here. and then had one lower leg which looked like it invalidated the divergence, and then rallies, which we're seeing actually quite a lot of recently. This structure here we're seeing a lot of. So we're seeing lower lows, higher lows. Then we're seeing this like fuck you leg lower here, breaks the divergence pattern, then immediately rallies and basically starts playing out the divergence. So we are actually seeing this quite often. This is basically like the Caroline pattern, right? It's where Caroline's saying fuck you divergence traders. I can see that you're looking at these and you're saying this is a div, you're reducing momentum into the lows, all of this. So I know you want to get long here, so we're going to wipe out all of your stops on this leg, make it look like the divergence is failing, and then we're going to pump it. If water gun to the head, up or down for S&P 500, down. Yeah, MKR went ham after last Sunday's stream. Yeah, I saw that. So we finished the stream and like 2 hours later it was up like 30%. It's strange our strategy to quadruple divs. No, we just wait until they nuke the div structure and then they start rallying. That's all. Do you think Lux will ever hit 2.5 USD? No idea, man. We looks pretty decent through here. It's a good rally. Structure's fine on the 4 hour as well. Good recovery after the dip lower. Shame it didn't take out any of the lows. Up into resistance now. Starts breaking through here. It looks a lot clearer though. Biggest traps to avoid when trading divergences. Understand the macro direction of your market. And if a market is still diverging, you should never get stopped out of a position. Which indicator is the last one? The awesome oscillator. And is there any chance you can explain how it works? Not on stream. It's way too long in terms of a discussion. Do you think we see a few more bear market rallies before actual capitulation? Like the capitulation word doesn't really sit right with me. I'm not as convinced that we haven't seen capitulation. So I'm not really as convinced that like when you say before capitulation that we haven't already seen that event. If a market is still diverging, you shouldn't get stopped out. Can you quickly explain, please? It means you're bad at building a position. So if you're trading based on a divergence and a market continues to diverge but you're stopped out of your position, it means you're bad at positioning. It means that your size is too big. It means that you're positioning incorrectly. It means you're going too big too quickly. Because if you're trading based on a divergence, how the fuck can you get stopped out if the market is still making that divergence? Right? So like that's one of the biggest traps that people fall into. Like if a market is diverging and your trade signal is a divergence, how can you possibly get stopped out while we're still making a div? You can get stopped out on lower time frame div, especially in a range. Spring or an up thrust is done specifically for that. Nah, it's not. Like you're combining like two factors. When you speak about a spring or an up thrust, you're talking about wick off. And if you're trading based on lower time frame, then wick off is irrelevant. There aren't wick offian ranges that are covering on the 5 or 15 minute time frames. Can you talk a little about Cuban reversion bands on the Renko setup? I saw it on an old Renko vid of yours, still considering that. Yeah, I haven't put Cuban's bands on Renko for a long time. Again, conditions haven't really been great for that because we're just flattening out when it comes to Renko. So we really need impulse in terms of putting us back down into, kind of like bottom of like Cuban bands. They're really nice. They used to be really good spot buying tools. And the same will be true this time, I'm sure. How would you become invalidated on a divergence play in this case? Well, when the divergence is no longer a divergence. So when the market closes at a low and the divergence follows, right? Or the RSI follows. Percentage of your trades based on divs? 60-70%. Any thoughts on Fumies? Well, Fumies is a project I've been advising on, so I'm not here to kind of discuss and promote Fumies. I would feel It would feel wrong to do so. I've been helping the team out in terms of advice, discussion, plan, etc. So like that's why I'm not discussing it, because as I said, like I'm not here to be a promoter of the project in terms of shilling it to people. If you like the look of the project, then that's your own decision to buy. I'm certainly not here to tell you to go and buy, do whatever. So like from my perspective, I don't really want to discuss it, just because I don't want to give people the wrong impression. You know, I want to be as clear as possible. I have provided the team with my advice, my discussions with them, but I am absolutely in no way, shape or form here to show that project to you or tell you to go and be a buyer. You know, that is absolutely your decision to make. What divs do you respect more, AO or RSI? AO, usually always AO. Do you always look for AO confirmation with RSI? Ideally, it would certainly shape a different risk profile for the trade. Did your strategy change on Cuban reversion bands plus Renko with respect to timeframes? Not really. It's the same logic and the same thought process. You just need to be aware of like how often a band is touched, and then also be aware of like where the bounce is to take you to, or where the reaction will take you to. That's all. When will you publish a FAQ? I mean, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. That should absolutely be up on the list. Publishing an FAQ. TikTok content goes live this week. That's when we're going to have a real problem. For every trade you take, do you know the expected probability of playout and the expected R done through backtesting? There is a certain element to which the answer has to be no, and there is a certain element to which the answer has to be yes. So as of the data that I have, the answer is yes. As to the fact that crypto is a very volatile, aggressive, and unpredictable market, the answer also has to be a no to that. Right? I have a pretty strong idea about the probability of play out of a certain position depending on the market that we are in. Sideways, if we're in like crab bear market, if we're in full bear market, if we're in full bull market, if we're in crab bull market, you know, depending on what the conditions are, I have an understanding of what the probability of play out is versus being blind. But at the same time, the crypto conditions are changing all the time. The volatility drop off can happen the way that we've seen now, and that sometimes those probabilities are scuffed by way of things that I can't account for as much with things like volatility news, certainly at the moment, or data releases, etc. Can we have a look at Rune? Really nice divergences, higher time frame. All right, I like that. You've given me a reason to look at the chart, so I like that a lot. Weekly is good. The weekly is really nice. I mean, the daily's looking pretty juicy. This AO one is really nice down here. This is great. This is a great look. Took out the original low as well from June. Yeah, really good. Really nice spot, Adam. I like it. Do you plan to build a spot position in any assets throughout the bear market? If there is a weekly divergence that is confirmed, I will buy spot. All that really matters to me. Weekly bull divs, I'll buy spot. Otherwise, it's uptrend. Well, there's no weekly confirmed div on BTC, right? There's the forming of a divergence, but there's no confirmed divergence there. Do you think slowly building a position over the next 6 months is not optimal? Not for me personally. Not for me. Like I'm not going to buy downtrending market for the next 6 months in the hope that it finally goes up at some point. Like I would just rather wait till it's trading up. Yeah, DCA triggering coming. Yeah, it fucking is. It's just like I don't understand why people are so horny to throw away the bull market asset when they own dollars and they're so ready to throw it away in the face of a downtrending market. I don't get it. Like, just buy when it's an uptrend. Yeah, don't bring it up. Right, I'm going to say 1 point on this, and then we're just going to end the discussion there. Just buy an uptrending market. It wasn't a problem during the bull market. You could have bought any market, and you still would have made a ridiculous amount of profit. God damn, man said vape as I'm vape. How many solid tradable divs can one expect in a random week on the top 50 coins? No idea. No idea. But like the trouble is that all of these markets are the same. They just have different tickers. But they're all the same, right? So, typically speaking, the top 50 coins, if there's a divergence on the top 2, there'll be a divergence on the top 50. You know, that's typically the way it works. Sure, there'll be some outliers in there that either won't have a div or will already be ahead of the market in terms of trading up or down. But just generally speaking, the whole market is the same. There's just different tickers here. But if there's a divergence on a couple of them, there's probably a divergence on 50 of them. Confirm BTC weekly bull div. Now, I'll tell you this, right? If BTC locks in the bull div, then I will absolutely confidently call for 28k. If BTC confirms a weekly bull div, then I'll target 28k. And I'd be very, very happy to be very vocal in that. Are you just not interested in ICT, or do you think it's shit? You can trade whatever you want. Like, you can trade whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is results. Like, that's all that matters. Check it. It's locked in. It's definitely not. It's absolutely not. I bought it 0.01. Please send this liquid trash to 0.07. The daily looks great. You know, from me preaching about RSI retests, this is pretty much textbook. But it is a higher time frame chart that looks like this. So just keep that in mind as well. How long to go before we know if the BTC div is locked in? 2-3 weeks? What's the trigger for confirmation? Upside. Isn't AO weekly BTC div valid since there's been 2 bar closes? It is, but it doesn't mean that it can't extend further. So you look at this and you say, okay, well, there's 2 green bar closes here. Well, what happens if the next 4 weeks are BTC doing this? For us to do this. Can you show and draw what would be needed to lock in? Yeah. There you go. Just in case you're not aware, that's an arrow going up. There's nothing more complex to it than that. You have to get movement away from here. Thank you, Pixel. Appreciated. You have to push this higher. Yeah, could always go sideways. And I always say, people think that they're going to miss the move. If you miss a weekly bull div, you're sleeping. You're sleeping, you're lazy, or you're indecisive. One of them. You cannot miss a signal on a weekly time frame unless something has happened to you in your life. And when we're talking about upsides, you know, people are going to be, you know, what will happen is, this is what will happen. Price will do this. It will trade to like 22k. And then suddenly everyone will be like, oh, I've missed it. Move's gone. That's it. It's finished. I'll wait for a pullback. And they'll do this. They do this. And like that will be the run. That's what will happen. Because the first impulse will happen. Everybody will say, I've missed it. Impulse has happened. Can't get in now. I'll wait for a pullback. And then it will just play out like this. And that's if it even confirms. That's if it even takes any upside. Why not scale in right now and set a stop in case a bull div doesn't play out? I mean, like, look, if that's what you want to do, that's what you can do. But, like, why? Like, you're literally flipping a coin. Like, you're literally flipping a coin on whether or not this is going to confirm or not. I could make exactly the same argument to say, well, why not just enter it or scale into a short position right now on the assumption that this breaks down? Because that's still an outcome from this position. What would be the confirmation of the div? Listen, that's the last we go talk about this motherfucking thing. R&R entering now is way better than 50-50. Disagree. And that goes back to the point where I said about you should never get stopped on a divergence if a divergence is still in the point of being made. How would you enter when that brutal move up happens if you're not already in? Just press the green button. Like, it's a weekly div. Like, a weekly div is an incredibly powerful signal. If it's a weekly div and BTC moves 15% up, that is not the weekly div playing out. I said at the first time we discussed this weekly div, like, there are weeks and weeks and weeks away from any confirmation on whether or not this divergence will play out or not. And when you start to see upside, people are going to be panicking, man. It's like, just wait. You're talking generic, depends on position on target. You get stopped on a divergence on a small time frame, yet an opposing divergence on a large time frame is playing out. It's not playing out. What do you mean playing out? It's not playing out. So there are bull divs, and then there are bull divs playing out. Yeah. So a bull div is the formation. The bull div playing out is the upside price action that happens as a result, right? Just saying if it was. I don't know what you're saying. Not even Caroline can mess up a weekly div. Well, yeah, of course they can. So the div is actually forming, and the only signal missing is a closed green daily up candle. Not necessarily, but it has to. We have to show, right? I make this as simple as possible. We are currently trading at $19,000. For you to have confidence that this divergence is going to head to the upside and lock in, and therefore continue heading to the upside, you need price to be trading significantly above 19,000. Yeah, just treat the weekly div like a 15-minute div. Well, that's the problem that people have, right? Which is why they can't trade higher time frame. Because you're weeks away from a decision. You've already had, 4 weeks of waiting for this divergence to see if it's going to do anything. So that's like 3 months of waiting for a signal. In the meanwhile, you've chopped your account to pieces trying to trade back and forth in the chop anyway. And then when the move happens, when the move starts, you're frozen out because you're like, I can't join now. It's already pumped too much. Can't join it. Can't get in here. Can't press the green button here. And then price just continues to target and freezes you out the entire way. So all that will happen at the end of a 3-month period is you'll have got chopped. You'll have known that there's the presence of a weekly bull div. The weekly bull div will start to play out, and you'll freeze yourself out from your own paralysis of the chart. That's exactly what will happen. And we'll talk about this in a month's time when there's a resolution to this one way or the other, and that will be the scenario so many people will be in. Yeah, we had a similar div on ALCX and it failed miserably. Absolutely, which is why we'll be waiting. Favorite div swing trade was Sol in the 3-day a while back. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. You're talking about this one here. People just can't trade the higher time frames, man. Like they just, and I'm not saying this about you in particular. I just mean in general. Like people just can't trade higher time frames. They're so used to trading on lower time frame, because even during this scenario, what happens is the psychology just gets fucked through here. So you get the 3 lows, you know the 3-day divergence is a thing and it's here. And then when this, 6 days of price action happens, you're instead zoomed in like this. You're zoomed in tight, and then you're like, I can't enter here, it's already pumping too much, I can't do anything about this position, I can't get in. And then probably even worse, you're actually zoomed in here on the 15-minute, and you're just on the 15-minute trying to find an entry, trying to scope out the market. It's like people just cannot trade higher time frame. It's about me exactly. I'm telling the story too. I mean, just in terms of the way I described it afterwards. What learning recourse and books did you use when starting? Very little. YouTube content, but mostly just self stuff, just self study. Sol's an interesting chart anyway as well. When we're here, it's bottom of the range still. It's a pretty interesting picture for Sol. Still positive and confident on ENS strength. Yeah, it looks very good. One of the best markets in terms of recovery. Playing devil's advocate though, the second leg of that div did the same thing. Upside coming in over 6 days, but it pulled back again. Here, this pullback? Yeah. But you're taking a 3-day trade though, right? So I mean, even if you took that position there, with the stop loss below your low, and you aimed for whatever target you aimed for, even if you wanted to take the low of that candle, you could come in here. You come in here, right? Lower this candle is probably sensible. And that's if you entered at literally the close of the 3-day. The second lower low, this one. And the 6 days, yeah. But then that's the exact position we're at on BTC. That's exactly why I'm talking about it. It's the same thing. Look at the AO. Look at the price action. Look at the AO. Look at the price action. It's exactly the same thing. That's what I'm saying. You cannot say this is a divergence at this point in time. Well, you can, but you can't be sure that there isn't going to be another leg lower. The same way there was in Sol. Here and here. Here and here. It's identical setup. And Sol produced the extra leg lower. So that's what I mean. You can't. I can't position here for this to be a dip. I think those 2 examples should be very clear on why. We can still absolutely get the play out, but it's also a good example of why you shouldn't never be stopped on a div in terms of the position. Great example. Well, I mean, I was fortunate that Ethereal actually, provided the example in the thought process. But, I think that is a very good example of the AO and the structure being similar. And Sol did another leg lower before it took off. And again, we know that situation could be here. The nicest outcome for BTC is this one. That's the nicest one. Is that we fake the break below 19. That would be the ideal scenario. Take out the low, fake the breakdown, instantly recover 19. That would be such a good look for BTC on the higher time frames. On Sol, wouldn't it make sense to zoom in and find a lower time frame entry? 3R on a weekly seems like a waste. Seems a waste of a weekly div. It's like 48% upside. So I really guess it depends on expectations. Like, if you consider 3R, like, fine, sure. I mean, like, you can always look at lower time frame for tightening up the stop slightly. From my perspective, like, the 48% gain or whatever is the biggest draw to the position. Can you share USD JPY, please? My man, absolutely no shot. So, you know, like, with Sol, yeah, you can absolutely dive in and try and get a tighter stop, and in getting a tighter stop, be able to have a slightly increased position size. You just have to be prepared that you are trading a 3-day time frame setup or a weekly setup, and therefore there is a chance that the lower time frame price action will stop you out. But on a weekly, you would have been safe if you would have planned for just the weekly. So you either have to acknowledge the fact that even though you get stopped out on a position, the trade you still want is the weekly div, and therefore would require you to reposition again. Or you need to just have a wider stop and play it as a weekly trade. Like, they're the decisions that you need to make as a trader on what happens. Yeah, there'll be a midweek this one, man. Man, do you still scalp the NASDAQ like the old days on Sierra? Absolutely not. I couldn't go back to those times. Gun to your head, pick a year. We will see new all-time highs, 2024. Do you think Renko and AO will ever lose its edge? I don't think so. I mean, who knows? Potentially, but I don't think so. It's been a very solid indicator for trend change. Do you think building a counter momentum system requires a lot of psychological resilience? On the higher time frames, yes. On the lower time frames, not so much. The lower time frames, like, you know, you get your play out, you get your release of the build up of you know, pain you have watching a position, but yeah, the higher time frames certainly a lot harder. What strategies do you recommend for the part-time trader? Higher time frame support and resistance reclaims. Higher time frame divergences. Like one of those. Like, you don't need to bother with the lower time frame stuff. Just be a good higher time frame trader. And like, there are very, very simple signals in trading. People just overcomplicate the simplicity. Thoughts on time-based Renko versus volume? Like, time-based isn't great. Like, tick is the only real way to run it. Been watching a ton of videos lately. You're still the best at transmitting knowledge. Appreciate it. Oh, look. This is a surprise, huh? This is a surprise. Getting back to the 19.155s. Just in time for the Futures Open. What a huge surprise. Almost as though we knew it was coming 2 hours ago. 9 minutes to open. A reset. Areas crossed and RSI 50 is lost. So it's not the prettiest setup. I wouldn't, like, as a reset, this isn't great. Oh, look, here we go. Yeah, bull market's over. Correct. Honestly, like, it was the most obvious play. It was gonna happen, like, 95% of the time that's gonna happen. Alright. We'll start off with the daily. This is your daily NASDAQ picture. This is your 12-hour picture. Get the RSI for you if you want it. This is your 4-hour picture. This is your hourly. This is your 15-minute. Getting into the juice territory now. 15-minute here. Your 5-minute. And lastly, your 1-minute. Now, regular stream watchers will know. Number 1. If you get the answer wrong, cursed. Trading cursed the entire week. The only way to put the curse right is to come back next week and guess the correct answer. Trading curse is pretty simple. Everything you do will be wrong. Every position you make, you should have taken the other side of the trade. Very simple. Very simple. Every time you enter a position, market immediately turns the opposite way. Just one of those things. All right? And I don't make the rules on this. Yeah, I'm cursed since last month. I 100% guarantee the curse is real. Second point. If you have the ability to vote and you don't vote because you don't want the curse, you automatically get the curse anyway. That's the anti-pussy rule. And we've had 8 weeks. 8 weeks of red candle victories. 8 weeks in a row. First 1 minute candle has been red. We so far have 62% voting red, 38% voting green, 700k channel points on red, 420k channel points on green. It's been 9. It's been 10. Like, people getting lost in the bear sauce here. Alright, we got a minute and a half till open. Poll is closed. 62%, 38%, 430 versus 700k. Bears betting heavy. I think on balance, maybe bulls are betting heavier here. Do you vote? Yeah, I've written down my vote here. Because I don't want to influence anyone, I always say my answer after. Because I don't want to influence anyone's decision. So I always say after the candle. It wouldn't be right if I was out here, you know, changing people's minds, altering their decisions. Just arrived now, just in time, my friend. Let's get ready. So, good luck. I will see you all on the other side. I bet you thought you had it. And look what it's done now. And look what it's doing now. And I bet you thought, look at it now. The 1 minute bear market straight into a new bull market. Wow. It was different to other weeks. It was a far closer battle. It was a far closer battle. Congratulations once again, Bears. Continuing to stick with a safe option. Week on week. 9 weeks, 10 weeks in a row, whatever it is. It's too fucking many. Congratulations, channel point earners. And a big thank you to everybody for being here tonight. When the volatility, when the price action is like this, it's good to have questions, right? Although some questions piss me off from having to answer them 10 times. All questions are good questions. I would rather be here answering what you perceive to be stupid questions than you holding on to that and nobody giving you an answer to them. So from my perspective, whatever you want to ask is fine. And when the volatility or the price action and volume is the way that it is currently, what else are we going to do? Right? What else are we going to do? So a big thank you to all the new follows, new subs, existing subs, resubs. Thank you very much. Truly appreciated, and all the active chatters as well tonight. And of course, the lurkers. Everybody appreciating the equal regard, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Hope you have a great start to the week. I'll be back with a midweek stream again this week. I'm not sure what day it's going to be yet, Wednesday or Thursday. We'll figure that out at the start of the week, and I will let you know. So a big thank you once again. Enjoy what's remaining of your weekend. And I hope the PNL is beautifully green for you in the week ahead. Best of luck out there trading, everybody. And I'll see you midweek.